Hello, this is Pi, and I just reviewed your match, so I will try to go to the parts where I would have played differently. By the way, this is a bad matchup for you, so like I think I would have played different in many spots, but um, versus for color control with verdicts and chalice main deck, it's not very easy. But let's start. Yeah, I think I agree with this mulligan. Yeah, I think it's fine to put back here, but maybe it was also okay to put back like the borrower, because I think the borrower is a strange card versus control, especially when you are on the draw. So I mean they play Chalice, and but that's not what you expect when they reveal Kahira. So I would have probably put back borrower just because Anoli hit is a good answer to Teferi, to Ren, etc. Especially because you are likely to play a creature on turn one. You here question yourself whether to go DRC or Ragavan. I think I would just play DRC because this is the best card to like if they play Bran and this dies, it's okay because then you can immediately dash Ragavan to Bran and kill that. I think it's fine like to lose value versus Ren because if they don't have it, you don't improve your board state, and since you have Tarmo, this is likely your turn two. So this is your best line. And this Charlie's on zero is very strange because for me it's a tell that they have another one in hand probably. So good catch on the borrower, but I don't really understand this display considering then the following. So now you decide to play Ragavan, and I think this is a bad mistake because playing Tarmo is the best line possible. Because if you play Ragavan, it's very difficult that you exile something useful. Like the best thing is probably Prismatic Ending to deal with the Chalice, but that's it. And while playing Tarmo is good because if they play Teferi and they plus the Teferi dies. If they play Teferi minus, Teferi dies. So without using any resource. Remember, this is a very important. Like keeping cards in hand is very important. So even bolting the Teferi is free less damage you deal to them. I think this is very bad also because now they have Fire Ice, and it's probably likely that they have something by how they played. They decided to play Charles on zero that is like really bad, um, considering they could have Charles on one and stop all half of your deck. So it's very likely that they have something. They have Fire Ice, but you could also have Binding, and also Binding is very good considering they can curve into the Fairy. again, like this is probably not the best play because you have counterspell and they have free lands and they are not casting anything. So they either have removals for your Ragavan in form of Binding Solitude, or they either have like the War Ring, and you can like when they play Ring on this kind of board state, you lose because they are at 16. So if they draw like 5 cards, you are super behind. I would just like play land and pass. Next turn you can dash with counterspell up or counterspell that 4-drop. Or even you can even play the borrower instead. Like I think there are many lines that are better than just not tapping out. Like when the matchup is like this is similar to Amulet, where if you tap out and they resolve their card, you lose. So of course you don't immediately lose to the One Ring, but it's a very bad card. Also because their removal costs 0 or 1, so I don't think it's the best. You could have considered this attack if you had like a spell pierce to say like if I connect I can also pierce, but it's the same like if they play Omnat, so I would have countered the 4-drop. And you had also freelance to. Another thing maybe you could have done was like bouncing the War Ring with Borrower and then counterspell it instead of playing the Tarmo the previous turn. I don't know if that's a good play, but it's something you should consider, considering this ring is what is killing you. This is interesting. So they play Omnat. They're virtual at 5. So in response to this trigger, I think the best play was to bounce the Omnat. So they go to 5 and they can't really do much against a Bolt. So if you top deck another Bolt or any cantrip, you kill them. You decide instead to not bounce anything and just like they play a land, of course they go to 11, but like if they play the fetch land, they gain 7, they go to 14, and there is no escape from this position. I think the best play was just bounce this. Because now even if you draw a bolt, you're not lethal, and of course they have seven cards in hand, so it's very likely that they have an answer for this borrower. Okay, this was probably unbeatable considering the plus 3 life. Now let's quick jump to our side. You decide to side like this. I think borrower is quite strong in this matchup because you tend to play a very aggressive like land pass game. I think I would have sided out a couple more Murktides, and I think Beating Needle is very strong. I don't like Murktide in this matchup because it dies to Lane Binding, dies to Solitude, so it's a card that really commits your graveyard. You can cast it on your opener, and it just dies to 0 or 1 mana. But Needle is very strong because you can name Ring, you can name Teferi, or just what is killing you in that moment. So it's fine because they need to have a binding also for that. Pick Your Poison is fine, it's not the best, and the rest is probably correct. But so keeping Borrower, side out the Murktides. I think for this matchup specifically, if you expect it to be popular, I'm playing Underworld Breach. The card is performing quite well in my testing, and I suggest it to you. Also, Murktide is another card that's weak to Supreme Verdict, so it's not the best. Yeah, this end seems very strong. Here you decide to play this Blood Moon. I think I would have just played the DRC, to be honest. I know it's weak to Fire Eyes, but unless they fetch an island, it's very because like I mean I think maybe I'm biased the fact that you die to Chalice now, but I don't know. Okay, now I will skip until the point where you draw something relevant, that is Otawara, because nothing happens basically. Also, considering Chalice in the part where he side, maybe you could have considered to bring in a couple of explosives. I think it's fine to cut 1 or 2 bubbles for those, mostly because it's a fine card to have. Like Chalice is one of the angles your opponent can kill you, so having the explosive is fine. And eventually, like you can surveil it out and bean it if you don't need that. Sometimes it's rough to draw 2 copies of the card, but like Pick Your Poison doesn't really answer the Chalice. But I think it's still fine to have for Ring and etc. So wait, so here you Otawara, and I don't really understand this part. You decide to play TRC Ragavan and Preordain, but you don't answer the Teferi. I think probably the best line would have been try to go the Ragavan dash into the Teferi, see if they have like a Solitude or a Binding, and then probably hit and Preordain. Or eventually just start with the Preordain, because if you don't have an answer for Chalice, you lose. And I don't know, maybe if you tunnel vision and this pick your poison, but this is actually a bad card in this spot because it doesn't answer Chalice, so it's kind of useless card. So I think there was probably a better ways to sequence in this spot. Maybe playing double DRC if you don't want to hit the Teferi, but I think you have two hits, so probably like DRC, hit Preordain, something like that. Or even just, I would have just started with Preordain, just because if you don't have, if you don't find another answer for Chalice, Chalice locks like half of your hand, and you still have to deal with this, so... So now they play Chalice and now they have Supreme Verdict, of course, that's the best card. Yeah, that's also why you shouldn't side out Borrower. Just because, you know, it bans Chalice, but it's also a nice card to have around. Yeah, now this annihilates you. Okay, so I think you... Like the biggest mistakes you made is tapping out during your turn, where your opponent's cards could have like killed you or brought them to a very high position of card advantage. But overall, also like the sideboard plan wasn't very clean, I think. But I think overall, like the matchup really is not great because they play a lot of problematic cards. So um, like my suggestion is try to playtest it a bit more and understand what are the keys. I think I personally, when I play these, I don't care about the removals. I just counter the permanents that gives me, or that they just draw a lot of cards like Ring, Omnat, Fairy, and like having a plan versus Chalice of explosives or Borrower, like bouncing effects, might be a thing also. So good luck in your other rounds, other testing, and thank you for the review.